Welcome to Real Estate Wisdom Podcast, episode number 24. And today we have a special guest from across the country in Vancouver, BC area, and specialize actually Surrey, where he's a local realtor, but he capture more Vancouver, greater Vancouver area. I know like a lot of people don't like that term, Vancouver, um, greater Vancouver area. They don't like to compare with GTA. But you know what? Uh, I have a friend over there, Century 21 Realtor. Actually, he's a triple A realtor, what we call him. And his and we are thrilled to have him as our guest in our Real Estate Wisdom podcast. From last two episodes, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get local expert realtors who give us insight about their area. So last time we did Kitchener-Waterloo in Ontario itself, and today we have with us Mir Khan. A little bit about Mir. Mir is known as friendly fighter. You must be thinking what I'm saying, like friendly fighter. Well, Mir excels in helping sellers get top dollar to their homes, assisting buyers in finding their dream homes, and aiding investors in achieving a great return on investment. With years of award-winning sales experience, he focuses on making properties stand out and stays updated on market conditions and regulations. Mir is also recognized for his honesty, tenacity, and use of innovative marketing tools. He brings a friendly yet fierce fighting spirit to negotiations and is committed to providing expert guidance and charitable causes, and has a strong network of industry professionals like me. Well, Mir's expertise extend to commercial properties, investment opportunities, and international real estate, supported by his CIPS designation. We're going to ask what the CIPS designation is from Mir, and a global network of realtors. He's also an investor himself and has connections to international lawyers and accountants. Mir's dedication to his client, his comprehensive approach to real estate make him a valuable partner for anyone looking to buy or sell a property, locally or internationally. We are excited to gain valuable insights from Mir's wealth of experience and expertise in the real estate industry. Well, enough of the spiel. Let's get to Mir Khan. Welcome, buddy. How are you?
I'm awesome, Vishal. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time and thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for. I know we postponed twice because conditions were not perfect with technology, and sometime as a realtor, we have some things come out, like which is more important than doing a podcast. But I really appreciate that. So, how's life?
Life is great. Life is always great. It's what you make of it, right? So
Yeah. You're still doing boxing?
I don't fight anymore, but I do train. Yes.
You do train, yes.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, Mir is a award-winning boxer as well, professional boxer. But he doesn't. He knock off his opponents with his beautiful knocks, which I can say. But he is such a helping guy, very down-to-earth person. I met Mir in I think like we were part of Richard Robbins before we met through Century 21 Miller. So no, Century 21 conference because we were connected before even when we came to know that we are part of same organization. And we built that relationship and we got more bonded. Like when we visited last time to NAR conference. And even so much so that you can see the bonding that we found the sign over there say Mir Wish.
Yep.
Remember that?
I remember that over the door. Yeah.
Maybe we can show those two people as well. But like in a wonderful, I know you have family in Oakville, Ontario as well, and so you are pretty much connected, and you also keep an insight like what's going on in Greater Toronto area. But today we're not going to talk about GTA. We're going to talk about your local area and see what insight you can provide to our viewers and listeners who's thinking of purchasing over there or just want to know like for their knowledge like what's going on. So I fire my first question to you and see, or I should say, like a first punch to you and see, like, how you can dodge that or respond to that, right? So, can you provide an overview of the Vancouver Surrey real estate market in 2023 and what trends you observed?
Absolutely. Vancouver is a little bit different than Surrey. Surrey is just outskirts of the Greater Vancouver area, and our price point is a little bit less expensive than the Vancouver side. And also, a lot of people that have sold their properties during the peak in the last few years, they have kind of transitioned into Vancouver from Vancouver to Surrey, and Surrey's properties because of that has kind of exponentially been rising and rising. And a lot of my investors as well. For the last almost a decade now, I've been telling them, Surrey's the place to be to investment as well as growth potential, and that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what has happened since over the years. Like for example, over the years, you asked me what's happened. The Vancouver market has probably dropped about 20 to 25, 30% maybe some places, because it's difficult to say that all of Vancouver is 20% or 10% or 30% drop. It's very localized real estate, I would say, in Vancouver at
Right.
least. And Surrey, same thing as well. So depending on, because Surrey is broken into 15 different sub municipalities. So Surrey
Mm-hmm.
is also a very, very large city. In area wise, it is the largest in British Columbia, but in population wise, it's probably the second largest in British Columbia. So it's a
Mm.
very massive city and it's growing. I guess the closest comparison would be, I don't know, I might be wrong, but in the Greater Toronto area, maybe Mississauga would be
Yeah.
like this probably the large area after the GTA, right? So Missouri, something
Right.
similar to that. And I remember when I left Toronto like 20 years or 20, over 20 years ago now, um, Mississauga at that point was not as prospering as what it is today. People were
Right.
forecasting that in the next little while it will get up there, and everybody was right about that. And now Mississauga is really expensive as well. So Surrey is similar to that now. We are in a place where,
Mm.
since I've been in BC at least for 20 years now, when we moved here I moved from Toronto to Edmonton to Calgary to here. So when I was in Calgary as well, when we looking at places to move, it was different. So coming to Vancouver now and coming back to your question, how is the market affected in 2023 for Greater Vancouver and Surrey? Very localized market, but generally Surrey has held its price. I'm going to go take a look at my stats now just to kind of compare average price in Surrey what it was. So if we look at the
Right.
5 year trend, for example, in one neighborhood, like I live in a sub, as I said, Surrey's 15 different municipalities. If you're
Right.
looking at the variance of let's pick one category of detached home, for example. The variance for
Right.
Sullivan Station, where I live, has from if you look at just the last year, let's go 5 years from 2020, from 2018 to 2022, we have gone up in price by about 78%. And even from 2022 to
Mm.
2021, in that 1 year gap, Surrey's gone up to about 26% in regards to the price point. Now, if you compare that to today where we are, right now, again, staying at single family detached homes. Last year, in January, we were at 1.410, and right now we are at about
Mm.
1.488. So it's gone
Mm.
up a little bit, but it's not gone crazy high. It did go down. So the market did appreciate from last year, January, to this year, January. Because as you know, January month just ended. So I have the stats for, comparing last year to this year. And obviously over a year, it's if you draw a straight line, like if you draw a line through, it's, I would say, more or less a little bit slightly higher than last year to now. And obviously there was a decline in the value, and then it appreciated. So the peak that happened was in June of last year, and again that's pretty
Right.
standard all of Vancouver as well. Same thing. The properties did appreciate over May, June, and then June was the peak, and then starting July it kind of hovered up and down, up and down, up until December, and then January peaked again.
Yeah, I can see that, like, because looking to some of the data as well, and say like approximately 7.2% annual increase in the average home price in Greater Vancouver in 2024. And like I said, yeah, what's, interest rate and everything is going on, even having that increase is huge. Like an average I believe, if we look into last 50 years data, or even like the last 70 years data, whatever the data we have available since we started recording, it is usually averages like 5%. But having 7.2% in a down market, it's incredible. So, my question to you: what do you think? What factors contributed to the annual increase, even despite of uh, high interest rate and affordability? And I think that's the same issue. What are the factors?
Well, the appreciation I think has come because when we were getting multiple offers years ago, a couple of years back, even 2, 3 years ago, like for example,
Right.
even I'm going to start with 2, 3 years ago, then I'll come to what's happening like in today's market right now in Surrey at least, and also in Vancouver
Right.
side. So back then, I used to be having one property, and one of my properties, I remember I listed it. It was a this is just one. There's many many examples, but this one I listed for it was a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom townhouse. It sold for over 390,000 over asking. I had about 39 offers on that. So from
Mm.
39 offers, obviously one person bought the property with, so much more value than what it was listed at. And I want to, list at a reasonable price. I did not underprice it. It was listed at where it should have been listed based on the market conditions at that time. And even
Right.
so, at that point, the way it appreciated with how much traffic I got through the open house, and obviously marketing and branding. There's a lot of things that go behind the strategies um,
Right.
of getting that kind of attention. But also coming down to the point, so there's 39 offers I got. 38 people did not get a property. Obviously, they lost out. So
For
those
sure.
38
Yeah.
people have to find another property somewhere. Now,
Yeah.
the market did not change in regards to how many buyers have happened. And then when it's now coming a little bit fast forwarding to when the Bank of Canada in 2022 started to increase the interest rates. And then now
Yeah.
recently again coming to now, since the last three or the last five interest rates opportunities that Bank of Canada had, they decided not to increase, and now we're at level at 5% rate from Bank of
Right.
Canada. It just happened on January 24th. Now the next one's going to be happening, I believe, in March 6th, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
That's right.
so March 6th, when they decide that again, we are predicting again. This is obviously Canada-wide predictions, I'm sure, but in Vancouver also, just recently now, most of the properties my colleagues have listed and selling right now, even for single family detached home. Because to give you one example, one of my buyers, they wanted to put an offer on one of the properties that just came last week. I
Mm.
contacted the realtor, and then my clients were out of town this weekend that just passed, so we couldn't go to the open house to view the properties, and the offers were coming in on Monday that just passed Monday, like the last week Monday. So we could not see that property, but I spoke to the realtor saying, if the opportunity there, can you please let me know? So now that realtor had about 9 offers on that property, which was over $1 million. And it was priced reasonably where it was supposed to be.
Right.
It wasn't underpriced again. But he said that same realtor, he's one of my colleagues from EXP. He said that, one of the other realtors just a block away from him, she's from Remax, and I know her as well, who she is. And she sold the offer with about 19 offers on her property. This is just happening just
Wow.
within the last few days to a week now, like within the week gap. And another person as well, like I spoke to, they sold.
Well, similar thing happening over here as well. You probably hear the story from the Mississauga house, which sold like a semi-detached house. It was underpriced a little bit, and it sold above market value, and would have 85 or 89 offers
Oh God.
on that. So yeah, it's going back again, and we were saying that I know we talked so many times about this, that people are holding off, and when the floodgate is going to open, and people will be in the same situation. Yes, like right now, still, I can see definitely in multiple offer, people are forced to put like a firm offers. But like before that, it was happening people putting the conditions on that. I accepted one offer with condition last week. Just the reason behind that is because it was a tenanted property, and also the closing and everything was working out for my clients, so they willing to take. We could have waited, we could have got like 5,000, 10,000, probably more for that particular property, but uh, my seller and we discuss things, and we make a decision based on what scenario we are in, and he's happy because he still make money. He's not in loss or anything, and work out smoothly, thanks to the cooperation of tenants as well, not only just the showing, but also transitioning from one landlord to the other.
Mhm.
So that's so it's saying like I think like it's happening nationwide, and especially the areas like ours and yours is definitely see quicker boost or quicker response when these things started happening. So, we talk about the interest rate. I know you're a little bit ahead the questions, and that's the trick about like going giving you questions in advance that we already have things in mind to say about. Uh, but how have changes in mortgage rates impacted the real estate market? We're just going back a little bit, and what impact you have seen in your area, and what insight you can provide to us.
With the mortgage rates, people are getting more comfortable and more kind of settling down, saying that the market is not going to drop anymore in Greater Vancouver and Surrey, anyways, at least. So
Yeah.
they're kind of getting into that mindset, and immigration is another thing as well. But coming down to the interest rates part only, I think people are realizing that waiting is not the game, the best idea to do now. And I've been coaching people and telling people since the interest rates have been level since last year, saying, you know what, the market will not adjust as much. Yes, maybe you might be paying a little bit more now in interest, but then over the long run, once the prices, kind of start to appreciate, you will be saving a lot more in the long run as well. So it's
Yeah.
better to jump in now than keep waiting on the fence or
Mm.
keep saying that, you know what, I'm going to wait to see what the market is going to trend. Yes, it may drop a little bit, it may appreciate, it may stay level, but the probability
Right.
of you paying more is getting closer and closer to the point where now, in the last 3, 4 weeks since I've been coaching my clients, and I've been, as soon as the market, since January started, I've seen the market already switch right away, and is
Mm.
progressively getting more and more and more sales, and the inventory is still not rising. The sales are
Yeah.
happening higher, and the inventory is staying pretty level, more or less. We don't have that much more inventory still in the market now. And obviously,
Mm.
generally in December, inventory just sharply drops. And that's exactly what happened this year as well, like 2023 ending December. So interest rates have
Right.
impacted, and people are used to the rates what they are now, and they realize that come mid this year sometime, could be a May meeting, could be a June meeting, when Bank of Canada eventually will lower the interest rate.
Mm.
And
Right.
before that, people are kind of realizing that and jumping in the market already now as of January this year. So
Mm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, it's definitely, you said it right because people were sitting on the sideline, and just like you're giving examples, like, 38 people still in the market in just from the one listing. So that particular type of house, they're looking, they're looking, and I think buyer was always there. They didn't go anywhere. It's just like they cannot afford it, and that's was the challenge for them. But even now, like people saying that where people getting money from, and how they able to afford it, because these are the same people who are not able to afford it. Now suddenly how they can afford it. And I was saying that I think they have changed their expectations. Tell me like if wrong. And also they have looked into the finances and what they can and cannot do. So they settle down more for the reality rather than having that, like, I want like the dream home, and I'm going to overspend, and you know they're making more sensible decision now than what they were doing in 2021, 2022, right?
yeah, people have the right expectation. And also one thing I've realized anyways in my local market is that instead of one or two people buying a property now, it's multiple people buying a property now. So on title now, it's not just
Mm.
one person that is the owner, or two people that are the owner, husband and wife, maybe it's husband, wife, maybe the dad, or maybe the brother, or maybe another person, a friend or someone. So that's becoming more and more popular now.
Well, I think like you just read my mind. That's what happened on my listing. There was four people on the offer, and it seems like they are brothers and a family. So husband, wife, and they put their name on there, and so that's how they qualify. So it's a great point, like, because opportunities are there, even you have like less money or you cannot afford individually, like, or alone. It's good to partner with someone who also in the same boat, and coming together you might qualify for that because you're going to reap the rewards later. Just like you mentioned, with the interest rate going down, I don't think it's going to increase. Maybe stay stable on a March 6th as well, and they probably decide like a second quarter. We don't know, but whatever the situation is, interest is not getting higher. So that's really will help there. So what do you think, like, what are the predictions for the Canada's mortgage rate in 2024 and how might they affect in real estate market?
Well, based on the Economist and what I've been reading quite a bit, and every day, as you know, being a real estate agent, we are not just, go get your paperwork signed, put a for sale sign outside, and the property just automatically magically sells. There's a lot of knowledge.
I wish
Yeah, I know. I wish too, man.
that people don't need us.
Nope. But that's the good thing that people like, we are equally, I think, anyways, maybe I'm biased, but I don't think I am speaking from being a real estate person now. Just even when I was not a realtor, I had a lot of appreciation from my real estate agent just because he was so knowledgeable, not only about just the local market, but he also knew what was happening with the politics. He knew what was happening with the economy, with the global economy as well, not just local economy, Canada wide and North America wide, as well as there's so many different factors that come into play. Like even sports affect us, and everything affect us. What's happening with the wars, even. So everything you need to read. So that's coming back to your point. Um, the real estate market in 2024, based on all the economists and everything that I've been reading anyways, and every day, we spend, I'm sure you spend the same amount of time, at least a couple of hours minimum, reading different articles from different sources, from complete different industries. So June, prediction is right now that we're going to be dropping. So coming down towards the end of the year, we anticipate the rate to come down hopefully to 4.25% from 5% right now, which is Bank of Canada current rate, in February 2024 right now. So that's going to impact the market quite a bit. We expect the market in BC anyways to recoup by about 7 to 10, 12%, depending on which area you're in by the end of 2024. So there is definitely, and even in January to February right now, we have already just the BC area, which is the BC Real Estate Association, they just announced that the market has gone more than what they anticipated in regards to the sales. So the market has already picked up since January to February now in just 1 month, and it's already transitioning or kind of moving towards the path where it's going to be even more busy as the spring season starts, which is, in the next month or so, it's going to be, full on season for like spring season then. So it's going to be a lot like a busy spring season. And that's why just before the call started, we were just chatting about it. And, most of my clients are in the market already right now, looking into buying or selling or doing something. So we're doing a lot of front end.
What happened for you?
I think can you repeat that? I think we lost the connection between.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
I couldn't. Yeah. I can hear you now.
As I was saying, like the market is projecting and kind of moving into the state where it's been more busy, and most of my buyers and sellers, they've all been not sitting on the fence, or even if they were sitting before, they're kind of understanding that this is the time not to waste anymore before the market starts to appreciate for buyers, especially for sellers. They're okay, and Indian sellers were okay since last year. Just December was a little bit slower. But otherwise, that's pretty general of December anyways. But January has been more busy, and there's been a lot more activity though.
Yeah, like I was just mentioning, they might not interest the interest rate. It's go down, and prediction is like it's going to do. But on the other side, when I'm looking into what's happening after just stabilizing the rates, not increasing it, people on the market, if this continue in order to control the same madness, they might say like, what, there is still an appetite. We can increase more. It's so be cautious about it. Like when you're making those kind of decision, and that's why they says what the saying is, like, I lost the word right now. That when it's when the things are right, like, take action that time, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen in a month, 2 months, or 3 months, or what scenario is going to change and how it's going to impact. Because in the COVID time, same thing. We never expected the market to go that crazy. And we were expecting like, no, it's a write-off. Like a lot of realtors and me and you were talking that time, I remember, and we're saying, oh my God, like this year is going to be really tough. Should I invest in coaching? Should I invest in our training? Should I, you know, uh, just as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, we were looking into our expenses that time and where to invest. But I'm glad, like, one thing the good realtors always do, and you always do, is I always do, is like invest our money towards continuing education, training, and sharpening our saw, like when even the time is dull, right? And so my only thing is like, at this moment, because it's happening so fast, within a week or two, market has changed so quickly. I'm seeing the market mindset, the seller's mindset change, the buyer's mindset change. Whoever get the advantage, they always get like, have more power or more control, they think. But now they think like, buyers losing their power and the sellers get gaining back their power. So it will be a good fight to watch,
Yep.
right? Who will stand on the ring? But I think like at the same time, it's a good bad both. But as a realtor, we always work as an advisor. And I like the word which you said before. It's coach. You're coaching people, coaching your buyers, like how to take advantage, and also looking into maybe it's still not the right time for them to buy, right? So giving the right advice to them. So advisor, coach. I know you'll use your sports term, coach, and you're working with some great coaches as well. So thank you for sharing that. Moving on to my next questions over here. How's the value of a single family homes in Surrey changed from 2022, 23 to 2024? But also I wanted to know, what are the percentage, if you have that data, that how many are condos and how many more single homes, still like more single homes, or because here in GTA the intensification has started, like that's what they looking into from municipalities and everything. So want to hear from you from that area, what's going on.
Yeah, for example, yeah, and that's a great question. In regards to the single family homes versus the attached homes, the attached, we have one category where we call them condos and townhouses, including
Yeah.
duplexes as well. But we don't have that many duplexes. We do have some, obviously, but it's not as many percentage wise. There's a lot more condos and townhomes now, and especially Surrey has a new. I guess in the last 5 to 7 years, Surrey's becoming more dense. So right now, there's been, I believe, $93 million that we have received funding from the federal government just recently, in January 2024, where there are certain mandates. So Surrey is going to be as I mentioned, Surrey is like, it's a very large mass of land. So it's the largest area in British Columbia. In population terms, is the second largest one again. So that being said, the Vancouver downtown is obviously the more prime area where it's very dense and there's a lot of large, tall buildings, businesses, and everything. Surrey is going to be the number two area in the British Columbia province, and there's so much infrastructure, so many condos that are coming in the market, and a lot of the detached homes that used to. When I even moved here 20 years ago, there was a lot more detached homes, a lot of commercial area like Canadian Tires and a lot of other commercial businesses in like plaza settings. Those have all been
Right.
torn down now. Not, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of them have been in the downtown area, which is the north part of Surrey, and it's called the Central City area. A lot of those have been torn down, all those plazas, and instead of those, there's been tall skyrise building by Bosa, by Anthem. There's so many developers that have come in there. Concord Pacific is also
Right.
building one right now called Piano. There's this, and we just had a meeting with them just, I believe, Wednesday, so a few days ago, within like about just within the week ago. So there's so many projects that are coming in Surrey. So that's the huge part now. So densification is a big part of Surrey's growth. And in investments wise, I would still encourage anyone who's on the fence or thinking of investing somewhere in Canada, if they want to be out of the Ontario area. Surrey, like Western Canada, is a lot more potential. And I'm working with some developers in Alberta as well. Again, that's a different
Right.
topic, but there's potential over there is so much more as well, like in the Alberta side, and there's different parts in Alberta that I can advise people on as well. Being in Western Canada,
Yeah.
so as I said, being in this real estate world is just not your local market. But coming down to your question, Vish, the inventory for single family detached homes last year, I'm just going to scroll up to my numbers now. I have the metrics here. So we had about 423 units, which is really low for the
Hmm.
market at at any point in time. So 423 was just, I'm just talking about Surrey right
Right.
now. So in Surrey, that's all
Yeah.
we had. And this year, as we fast forward to January 2024, we had 587. Now, if you look at the number of
Mm.
sales, this is kind of really important. Now, if you look at the number of sales last year in January in 2023, only 41 units had sold. So 41 units had sold last year, a year from January of just past 2024.
Yeah.
This
Right.
year in 2024, just last month, we sold 80 units.
Wow.
So as you can see, the numbers doubled, over doubled.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more than 100% appreciation in terms of the what the market was last year versus what the market is this. This is just for detached single family homes in Surrey. Now, if you fast forward that now again, or
Right.
change topic, I guess, to now attached homes. Last year we had about
Yeah.
643 units on the market in 2023 January. This year we have
Mm.
814 units. So
Right.
it's a little bit more, but in regards to the sales again, last year we had about 116 units that sold in January 2023.
Mm.
This year we had
Mm.
186 units. So it's
Wow.
not
It's a good increase. Yeah.
exactly, it's not 100%, but it's appreciated. So a lot of people were saying, you know what, the affordability was a big reason. Like, what can people afford? Because the value of real estate in
Right.
Greater Vancouver and Greater, Toronto area is pretty similar, more or less. Sometimes Vancouver beats Toronto,
Right.
sometimes Toronto beats Vancouver. So it's up and down. We both keep battling who's the most expensive real estate in Canada. Um,
Right.
but the townhouses and condos were more affordable at that point, but now the detached home prices had come down as well. Now everything is kind of appreciating and going up in sales. So the volume has not gone up, that much more from 643, for example, to 814, but the sales have
Yeah.
progressively gone up higher and higher as we keep moving towards. And this is again in January. We have to keep in mind the spring market has not started yet. So once we get full swing in spring market, we anticipate that to be a lot higher, and inventories again not gone up that much. So again, pretty easy concept in
Yeah.
economy. So supply and demand, right?
Oh, with intensification of the high-rise building and more condos coming in. But you were talking about like still we have single-family homes opportunities, and there's a lot of them. So what opportunities are there for home buyers and sellers in the Vancouver or in Surrey area in 2024?
There's a lot of opportunities for especially with the downtown core focus, where, as I mentioned, the bank of, I'm not sure whether the part was disconnected, but the federal government announced, over 90, I think it was 97 million or 93 million, I can't remember the exact number, but it was over $90 million in more densification for Surrey. And the downtown of Surrey is going to be the second largest downtown in the province of British Columbia within the next 7 to 10
Right.
years. So there's been a lot of that growth with condos coming in. Plaza's been torn down, detached homes been torn down with condos again or townhouses coming there. So that growth has spurred since last 5 6 years, and that's going to be progressing going forward as well for the next at least few years until we get to the downtown core. And the downtown core of Surrey right now is amazing as well. Like there's so much potential, so much growth in the last 20 years I've seen as well. To even older malls in like for example, yesterday I was in Burnaby. One of my clients is selling the property there. So I was, and it's right by Metrotown Mall, which is Metropolis and Metrotown. So it's like the largest mall in British Columbia. Um, and even
Right.
that has changed so much from the years it used to be then to now. And then another mall, maybe 10 minutes from there, also in Burnaby, it's called Brentwood Mall. I remember Brentwood Mall used to be tiny little, I wouldn't, like it was not, I wouldn't call it even a mall. It was technically, they called it a mall, but it wasn't a mall really. It was just so small. Now that's been torn down, and there's a huge VIP Cineplex theater. There's all these nice posh stores, restaurants, everything that you can want. And it's become a nice little community with like water fountains and everything in that community as well in the area. And not only that, the Brentwood Towers, which is really popular in Burnaby as well. There's right now two towers standing. There's another 3 to 5 more coming as well. So the Burnaby is growing exponentially. So all of these areas, like Burnaby also received funding as well, not as much as Surrey. Surrey got more funding than Burnaby for growth. So that's why if someone is thinking of investing, I'll still go Surrey than Burnaby. I have investments in Burnaby too, so I know the Burnaby market really well. Um, but Surrey is the place to be. And coming back to your question, what percentage? Like, there's a lot of opportunity. Like, give you an example as well. King George SkyTrain station is kind of the towards the end of the SkyTrain line right now, which is also being extended. So in the next 5 to 10 years, the SkyTrain, which is kind of compared to the TTC, I guess, it's expanding a lot further than what it is today. So that growth also, where people don't need to commute in their cars and any like even public transportation, they can just jump on the SkyTrain and just head out to further
Right.
parts of outskirts of Greater Vancouver, way past Surrey, even to Abbotsford as well, Langley as well. So those are all more further areas where you're going further east into the province towards Alberta side. So there's tons of growth in Surrey, and as I said, if someone's looking into buying detached home, there's not much land remaining now. A lot of the larger homes that have been torn down, and there's kind of subparceled. So you say you had half an acre
Right.
lot. With one nice mansion, that mansion, if it's older one now, real estate is always the best use of land. How can you maximize the land, right? So if something was there back then for maybe $2 million, someone's buying that 2 million, they're creating parcels of that and then reselling those smaller
Yeah.
detached single family homes as well. So there's a lot of that going on as well. But apart from that, there's not too much land in Surrey as well now. We are kind of going to the outskirts, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much the same trend as anyone else, any larger metro city as well, I think. So Surrey's become a large metro city as well. So there's still opportunities, and a lot of this, my clients are investing into townhouses and condos in Surrey as well, and there's
Right.
so much more opportunity still oncoming as well. So there's prices are still reasonable, not too bad. I've had a lot of
Yeah.
pre-sales as well that a few years ago I've sold. Now some of them are completing this year, some are completing next year. Some are completing even,
Right.
and I've sold some more this year as well already and last year. So those completing in 2028, 2029, some 2027. So there's a lot of growth still in Surrey and surrounding cities like Coquitlam as well is building a brand new development, a whole community with I think it's about over 15,000 homes there, and is built by BD. So it's a massive community. I believe it's about 96 acres or so. They're going to have community centers, and there's I think about 15 buildings that they're going to be building like towers, plus townhouses, plus commercial.
Yeah.
So there's going to be massive growth, and it's all by the waterfront and Coquitlam side.
Well, that's great to hear. There's a lot of opportunities over there, but I think like I know you're the number guy, and a lot of our investors are numbers
Mm-hmm.
as well. Uh, I'm not sure because in Ontario there's not many positive cash flow properties. If I'm looking to the rental properties, for example, what insight you can provide us based on that? Is there like still a cash positive, or more relying on appreciation
Nope,
only?
there is cash positive opportunities as well, especially now with the Bank of Canada. Hopefully, in the next few months, they will readjust the rates, kind of start to lower it down. And obviously, over 2025,
Right.
2026, we expect to be more like 3 point something percent. Now, that being said,
Mm.
the price point now, the one I just mentioned to you with BD, they're building, it's called the Fraser Mills Complex. If someone wants, they can reach out to me. I've already sold a few in the development. They've only launched 2 towers so far from
Right.
this growth. So BD bought this parcel of land about 20 years ago. So give you perspective, go back in real estate 20 years ago, and then if you wanted to, if I give you the crystal ball, say, you know what, Vishal, now it's 20 years back. This is probably potential to be growing.
Yeah.
Like, would you not invest $1 million in there where you can get maybe 100 times worth of return in 20 years? Anybody would. So
Yeah.
coming back to that, BD, what they have done.
Well, just wait for a second. Probably I've got the indication from Yash, and is requesting something. What do you want? What do you were saying? Right.
We do have a feed, but do you want it just to be safe for rejoin? I sent you another link that's not a producer link.
Okay.
It's a guest link, so hopefully it records it.
So we're switching from producer to guest. Like
Yeah,
that's
so
what.
you just exit, join.
Join as a guest again. Okay. You stay there. Like I have to switch something
Okay.
from here side.
Sorry about that, Mir. I'm having lots of technical difficulties.
I can see Yash, but I can't hear you.
So is it a different link? You did
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh no.
what?
I'm trying to talk to him, but he
Ah.
can't hear me. But that's okay.
So the one you said join session, that's the one?
I just sent you the new link on your
Yes,
text.
Patel Studio? Or text or you?
Text.
The one you sent me there. Hmm. Are you able to see any of the things which recorded? Is there or no? Or we lost it?
I'll check it once this session is done.
We should.
I'm afraid to leave and then this recording stops.
Could have been better checking, because once we do everything and then we find out it's not recorded, then what's the point, right? All right, now I can see Yash again, and you can see me as well, I think. Mr. Yash, everything looking okay? Recording as well. All right, perfect. So should I continue further or should I have to recap something?
You can
Continue? Okay, perfect. So yeah, sorry to interrupt you, as you know, this is the first time we're doing the remote recording, and you are the guinea pig this time. So we'll see like how it comes out, and but I hope everything will be okay from this point. Yeah, so we're talking about, investors, ourselves. We want to know about numbers and see, like, is there still the positive cash flow, right, on those investments, or because it's a combination of both, like appreciation and, the positive cash flow, because I know, like, a lot of investors left Ontario, and they're not investing in Ontario that much what they used to, because they're not seeing that benefits. And even the builders, right? They slow down the building process now, and it's got delayed, and some of the projects is on hold. And what I'm seeing is like there's going to be more shortage in 2025 because builders not building. Government is forcing, and you probably heard the news as well. There we are 250,000 short, like, and already, like, was a target was not completed, and we have the big hairy goal, and that's increasing because immigration, we keep on bringing people in, but we're not able to build houses that fast. So, talking about the numbers again, the opportunities there, what's your take on it?
Yeah, the opportunity is still here. Even as I mentioned, the Fraser Mills one that we just talked about, the one in Coquitlam, where BD had bought this lot and then now they're building. The dollar per square feet is really cheap. They have only the first building they released, which was not even released to public, was sold out within, I believe, a couple of weeks. Now the second building now, which is still not open to public right now, is mostly sold out as well for investors. And I have a lot of investors that I work with right now that are buying into that building as well, because the dollar per square feet, it makes so much sense to invest into that one versus even going to Vancouver or some parts as well. And Vancouver also, there's a huge
Right.
growth as well. There's a new development coming called the Curve, which is coming in Vancouver downtown, which is going to be the tallest, highest building in the entire province of British Columbia. And this developer, and there's a partnership of them, they kind of scope the entire planet Earth. They scope New York, they scope Dubai, they scoped a lot of different, large destinations. From all the destinations globally, they picked Vancouver as the where they want to build this project. So there's a lot of that investors, global investors, that are looking at Vancouver as well as a potential. And that this property, the one I'm mentioning, Curve, it's a very this is a more of a luxury property. So this is a dollar per square feet is much higher. It's over $1,000. Over I believe it's 1150.
Yeah.
It's over $1,100 per square feet. So this is more of a luxury one. So there's opportunities depending on what you want. If you want something more exclusive, more unique, we have that right downtown in Vancouver, and literally it's in the heart of downtown Vancouver. But if you want a little bit more affordability, but you still want a great community and you want more investment, more return on your investments, like a bigger ROI, then we have those opportunities as well, in different parts in Vancouver. So depending on what the investors want, like do they want more luxury? Do they want more affordability?
Right.
We have all those options here as well. So, and coming back to your point with the immigration happening right now in Canada, I know that's probably one of the things you're going to be asking me as well. um, but federal government just restricted international students, as we all know, into Canada. They're
Mm.
capping that. So having that cap as well, and
Yeah.
now just recently, the federal government also announced that they're going to be restricting the foreign buyers for another couple of years till 2027 now.
Mm.
So that's a new
Right.
release as well of information that was just happened like within the last few days ago. So those are all
Right.
impacting, making sure that Canadians have the opportunity to buy versus any foreign investors coming into
Right.
buying. Now, that being said, again, we need to go back and look how many foreign investors were actually buying in Canada. So that's a different topic again. Like I don't want to get into that,
Right.
but I don't think there was that many more people in Vancouver anyways. Yes, we do get a lot of people coming in from the China side generally, just because it's kind of over the Pacific Ocean. Um, and we
Right.
also get a lot of the Indian community and Filipino community coming into our area as well. So there's a lot of, international immigration that's happening within the greater Vancouver area, including Vancouver, including Surrey.
Right.
Give you an example. I know a few years ago we were in St. John's for the Century 21 conference.
Right.
While we were there for the Century 21 conference in St. John's in Newfoundland,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
point we were at a restaurant and there was someone, one of the servers were working from India, and we started to talk to him, and it's kind of as a joke, they said he said that in Punjab right now, for example, people don't know Canada. When you say, you know what, I'm going to Canada, they don't know, some people don't know what Canada is or where Canada exactly is, but they say, I'm going to go Surrey. They know where Surrey is. They want to be in Surrey. So
Sorry,
that's
Brampton?
Brampton is another one too. Yeah, Brampton is another one. Yeah, for Punjabi people.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you're thinking of anywhere in Canada,
Right.
like a lot of these guys know Surrey though, but they don't understand. Then they know Surrey and then they know Canada. They don't know Canada and then Surrey. So it's the other way around. So if someone
Wow.
says, "Okay, I'm going to go Surrey," they say, "Okay, I want to go
That's
to Surrey too."
fascinating.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about internationally as well. So there's a lot of, I'm just talking about one community of, Punjabi community in Surrey. It's very, very
Right.
predominant here, and it's amazing. Like it's such, and that's not the only thing. Yeah, there's a lot of, Asian restaurants, like, Filipinos or Chinese or, Vietnamese or Thai restaurants. It's everything mixture
Well,
here of.
well, the opportunities for everyone. But my question is like based on the government policy restricting students, but at the same time uh, they don't tell you that also they're bringing more people from other troubled area from the world as well as a refugee, and they also have expedited the PR process for refugees as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that they capping it and how long it's going to take impact. I know there's a different purpose of doing that. It's not the housing, in my opinion. It's more about having those issues. Like, we probably heard last time we have like 700 students found that it was like it was scam, like it's got faked entry over here because whoever the travel agent coordinator or for the school, they were sending in a different school and registering in one, and it was a big scam which got exposed, and a lot of students have suffered from there. So, in my opinion, like that's probably there's more intention than yes, it's going to impact a little bit housing as well, especially for the renters because the renting students coming and not purchasing their house, they're doing the more
Right.
renting. So that way is going to ease down a little bit on the rental system. But in terms of looking, people still coming in because the the media also like to pick up the stuff like an only which excite other people, but not telling the whole story. But you and me, like who are in the market and look into 360-degree approach on everything and how it's going to impact the future market. Like now, what's going to happen, and where the more immigration is coming from, right? And what quality of people coming in as well. We know we require more trade. but most of the time we get like professionals, IT professionals, and people coming in, and they don't have enough job on their field in certain areas. And thing is like and that's a challenge for them as well, right? Is getting the right people for the right job to fill those positions. Uh, but sometimes I think like government don't think too far, like how it's going to impact. But it is what it is. But coming about like you're saying that a lot of investors we were talking about foreign investors and everything, and I know the Vancouver, British Columbia area like been always been heavy from investors from China, and when we're talking about China, even so much so, you have lower mainland over there, and what we call like throughout BC, and how. So I was questioning about how is the overall housing market in the lower mainland and throughout BC stabilized into 2024? What the impacts are there?
Right, like how are we stabilizing in 2024? Like there is more development and growth going on in the lower mainland, Surrey and outskirts of Surrey as well. Anything out of the greater
Yeah.
Vancouver area. And there's a lot of developers now that were kind of on the fence that are kind of coming back into the market. Like another example, one of my other clients, I was going to buy a property. We put an offer on it last week, actually, a week ago, a week and a half ago now. And
Right.
we asked for a little bit of concessions in there, so like a little bit, includes air condition or something else in there. The developer accepted some things, but the
Right.
other ones, when I negotiated, I always negotiate the best price for my clients. So
For
I
sure.
was negotiating with the developer. A lot of people think you cannot negotiate with developers. Again, that's again different topic depending on who you're talking to. So I'm not going to go there.
That's right.
But with this developer, I negotiated the price point, and he came back right now saying, you know what, no, Mir, I can't give you the price point on there because this is my most prestige home out of the 1660 townhomes that he built in that community in Surrey.
Hmm.
So from 60 townhomes, he sold about 80% of that development, and they started selling in 2021. So now this is the last phase that he's
Right.
kind of wrapping it up with. So now there's maybe a few units left over. Maybe I would about half a dozen or just about a dozen units left over now. And he said this is
Yeah.
and he said that this unit is the biggest, the most prestigious unit in my complex. I am not going to sell it. And in the next couple of weeks, if I don't sell it for the price that I've listed it for, I'm going to increase the price on this. And then I know I'm going to sell it for sure because the way the market is trending right now. So there is opportunity,
Yeah.
and especially the timing wise. And as I've been telling everybody as well, like the timing was yesterday to buy real estate. You never, wait and buy real estate. As they always says, you buy real estate and then you wait.
Right. 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 You are absolutely right, and that's a great saying as well. And looking into that opportunity, like over here, I'm just comparing with the Greater Toronto area, like what's happening over here, and the builder's perspective. And during last year, like we have a lot of cooperating builders. Before we didn't have that many,
Hmm.
and usually they offer like in the 2% to 2.5%, but now it's gone up to like 4 or 5, in certain cases like 6%. They offering the cooperation as well because and also like we're talking with the one of the builder over here, and we're talking about there's a lot of units like a condo units are vacant, right? So there's a lot of vacancy there. So inventory is there in terms of you know which people not moving, or they halt it, like not people walk away after paying the deposit and they don't want to go. But even they're paying like on the $1 million house, 300,000 deposit, they walk away. It's not going to cover the cost for the builder as well. So builders getting impacted big time, and that's why the prices not came down from their side that much compared to resale market, because the cost of construction is high
Hmm.
with interest rate hike as well, that the then, and that's why that's why the government have changed the policy of the foreign investor last year in the starting, that the foreign buyers can still invest in the construction, but not in the resale
Hmm.
kind of thing. So it's interesting. It will be interesting to see like how BC market react to you know and the builders, what they're doing over there to keeping the inventory high, at the same time not bearing the losses. Well, here's the things. So we have seen them expected trends in Vancouver, Surrey, and real estate market in 2024 and beyond. And I think you mentioned that because all the suburb areas, like I said, growth is still happening and it's continued to happen. Is there anything else which you want to add on that?
No, the market in British Columbia and Vancouver, anyways, we call our market more like a global market. So it's not just people from Canada that want to live here. We have a lot of migration from US side as well. A lot of Americans from Seattle. I've sold people who work in the city of Seattle from Microsoft or different places as well, because there's, Seattle is a huge influence on the Vancouver side, and the drive from Seattle to here, because most people are more mobile nomads now. Like you don't need to physically go to Seattle and be in Seattle. They cross the border, and I'm about 10 minutes away from the U.S. border from the state of Washington. So people always come over. They buy in Surrey, and they live here in Surrey area because it's more affordable than Seattle. Plus, if they're not commuting every day or once or twice a month, they need to go there or just go there for even once a week. They're okay with driving that distance, spending the night there, and coming back the next day. So a lot of investments are and growth is happening from not only Canada, from the U.S. side into British Columbia, as well as international investments as well. So we are one of the best places in the world to live in, I believe, anyways. Coming from Toronto and living in Edmonton, living in Calgary, and then living in Montreal for a while as well. I personally feel Vancouver is the absolute best place to be in the world. So having that perspective and affordability wise as well, there is a lot of opportunity, a lot of growth. So people who are looking into buying properties, and having a great lifestyle. Like we got snow only one time here. Now outside it's raining a little bit, but it's yesterday was a great day. I think we had highs about 13 or 14 degrees. So temperature is very regulated as well. We don't have much snow anywhere. Plus, Whistler and going to Kelowna, which is the interior BC, another beautiful destination.
Right.
So again, British Columbia is one of the best places personally, and I would encourage everyone to come at least check it out. And if you're here, give me a quick ring. I'll be more than happy to give you some guidance in regards to what's happening. And also, if you're looking of investments here or internationally as well, as Vishal mentioned, I have my CIPS designation, which stands for Certified International Property Specialist. I've had this designation for a few years now, and it's a great network that I can connect people. So far, I've reached in about 63 different countries. And I can help people connecting in different parts of the world if they are looking into investing. I have international real estate that I own myself out of North America, out of US and Canada. So it depends on where you want to be and what your intentions are, what your lifestyle is you intend to have. So having all that, because we are becoming more of a smaller world, good technology and everything else. So if you want to live in Jamaica, for example, but you want to work in Canada, you can do that. You can spend 2 months at one of my I'm not sure if we are connected because I can see you pause.
I know. I think my side as well, having issues communicating with our servers. Try to
Can you hear me, Vishal?
I can hear you. I can hear you. You cannot.
I see the screen paused.
Give me a second. Man, so much internet issues. Yeah. I'm just trying to wrap this up as well.
Check. We have the recording from the previous disconnect.
We do? Yeah. No internet.
Are you rejoining?
Yeah.
It shows that you left.
No, it shows reconnect. Was away. It kicked me out. So I'm reloading. All right, I'm back.
Hey, buddy. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Well, seems like a lot of communication issue with server. Talk about communication issues. Let's wait. So seems like it's okay now. what are the job opportunities there? Like, what attracting so many people to Vancouver? I know the weather is better than Toronto, for sure. Um, that's the other thing which I don't like is like the gloomy, rainy season over there a lot. But I know once you start living over there, like you get adjusted, and when it's sunshine, then it's everybody's out uh, and celebrating. And we had the great sunshine over here, like in the week on the weekend, and everybody was seems like a spring. It's already spring over here. So a question going back to my question is regarding the job market and what opportunities are there, people who are migrating from other countries, and if you can give some insight to that, that'll be great.
Well, Vancouver is more, it's a mixture of everything. I don't want to say one particular career would, supersede anything else. Obviously, UBC being here, as well, that's, a lot of students, a lot of people coming in here that are very professional, so they're getting the MBAs or getting other upgrades to their education. That helps as well. But coming back to the job
Yeah,
market, where you're saying like being close to the US side, we have a lot of IT side that big influence here as well. A lot of entrepreneurs. There's, I think, in British Columbia, there's the most entrepreneurs in Canada. So people releasing a lot of
yeah,
health products, like for example, Lululemon was, invented and introduced in Vancouver downtown, which is a global brand now. So there's a lot of those opportunities
right,
as well. So a lot of entrepreneurism that happens in British Columbia. So people are looking into, any health products or any, modeling or whatever it might be. As I mentioned, IT already, finances as well. Finances maybe not too much, but there is obviously finances here in Vancouver as well.
right,
Toronto is bigger for that. But
yeah,
opportunities for everything here. Like medical is one thing. Like that's, I think pretty much everywhere in Canada maybe we are lacking, but Vancouver is one of the things as well, where for nurses and
mm,
doctors, it's a great profession, great place here. I have one dentist that's
right,
actually moving from Toronto. I spent about a weekend, 2 weeks ago now. He had moved from Toronto with his family to Vancouver just to find a. He's already bought a dentist practice here in downtown Vancouver, but he wanted to find a rental place
yeah,
right now before he buys a property for himself, where he wants to live. So I was there helping him
mm,
rental as finding with rentals as well, where just helping, giving some assistance, guidance. Because in BC we have two different licenses, one
right,
for rental property management and one for real estate sales. We don't Realtors in British Columbia don't do the same, property management and rental together. We have two separate licenses. A lot of people don't know that. So
right,
I don't have my property management license. I'm not really that interested with that side of the business. I'm more interested into the sales side of the business. I enjoy more, with the it keeps me really busy. I'm working pretty much all the time around the clock. So I don't want to add something else like property management to my portfolio as of right now. Once my team.
well, you expand your team, like you have more opportunity, you're popular, and that's what I look into. That was like how you grow when you grow other people as well along with you, and that will be it. I know I was while I was talking to you, I was just doing some checks over there, like at the job market, and I know like a BC is expected to have about 1 million job openings between 2023 and 33. And so within 10 years, like 1 million, that's a lot of jobs, which is the opportunity over there. But I know we have some short time, and with the communication, we might want to wrap up a little quicker on those ones. But like some important questions which I have to ask you, and we talk about the opportunities every and just like our opportunities and communications over here. But what do you see that what challenges do you foresee for the Vancouver, Surrey, and real estate market in 2024, and how can home buyers and sellers navigate these challenges?
The best thing to do is when anyone's thinking of buying any property in Vancouver, doesn't matter if it's investment or you want to kind of come and live here, having the right,
Right.
team with you is the most important part. I feel, anyways. You need to have a trustworthy, someone you can trust, basically. So if you're looking for, like a established realtor or a mortgage broker or whoever it might be, you need to have that someone trustworthy looking after your best interest, not trying to kind of sell you something and then, it's tough luck after that. Because real estate, as we all know, is a long
Yeah.
term game. You can't come in, buy, today and sell tomorrow. So that
Right.
is important to know the knowledge of where to invest, and what makes sense. So having that research done in the background, having the testimonials from previous people who that person who you're wanting to work
Right.
with has done. So ask for testimonials, ask for recommendations that whoever you decide to work with. It doesn't matter if it's a realtor or mortgage broker, whoever it might be. So those are important features and
Yeah.
factors you need to be looking at, and obviously having that down payment as well when you're down here, because without down payment, if you're thinking of buying anywhere, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's not going to it's not going to work. So have some kind of down payment, some financial stability as well. So those are the key things that I would recommend
Yeah.
someone coming from outside to coming into buying into British Columbia. And now when it comes to opportunity, but there is a lot of growth, as I mentioned already. There's tons of opportunity. That doesn't matter where you're looking for. We can find you something.
Yeah, let's talk about the challenges. We talk about the opportunities. There's a lot of, but like looking into real estate market, and uh, is there any challenges? Definitely, there's always like some challenges, like shortage of houses, affordability, interest rate, vulnerability, all that stuff over there. But is there any other thing which you see in British Columbia, which you see as a realtor as a challenges? Or as a buyer or seller, they look into as challenges as well.
I don't see too many challenges here. Yes, we have the regular challenges everybody else of affordability and obviously shortage of inventory. That is still ongoing.
Right,
That's not any different than anywhere else, I think, in Canada or maybe even the US. But that's pretty much the only challenge I would think that we have. Just a lack of
right,
inventory. We don't have as much, and a lot of immigration is still happening. So having said that, like, we just need to make sure that um, that's something, affordability wise, that's something that whoever's coming in for buying or renting or investing, whatever, they need to have that perspective of coming in and maybe struggling a little bit. The lifestyle I feel from Toronto, because I lived in Toronto, that's where I grew up. So moving from Toronto to BC, one of the
right,
challenges, the people challenge, like, and it's more reserved, it's more very more workaholic kind of environment here. I guess maybe it's the weather,
right.
but we have nicer weather throughout the year, so because of that, people are able to work more, and they do work more.
Yeah,
So that's the challenge, of having that work-life balance. I find personally, as a real estate agent myself, as well as people professionals coming from outside Canada or within Canada, migrating into the British Columbia side, that's a challenge they all find.
right.
So I guess that's pretty much the biggest challenge. The inventory, mortgage rates are kind of coming down eventually. So there's not much challenges here otherwise apart from that.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Like, and I knew that because my cousin live over there in Burnaby, and that's the challenges. We wanted my cousin's son lives in here, and he always like asking them to come back over here. Not come back over here. They always live in Vancouver, so they like that area, Burnaby area. But like the biggest challenge, they say, like in the it's winter. It's more cold over here. But this year I can say it's more like a BC weather over here. Like we have more rain than snow. I think only like two snow which happened, and one of the cold wave I was away. So that's so it's turning into more things. But I think the weather definitely makes a difference in anywhere, like you're changing from one area to other. And we are so diverse in Canada. Each area is a little different. So you take a little bit time. I remember like when we went to Newfoundland, like a St. John's last time in conference, and it was totally different. That what you experience something in Calgary or something in even in Edmonton or BC or Toronto area, this was totally different, right? So each area is different, so always come with some challenges. Well, thank you for your wonderful time with us, and really appreciate that. We're definitely going to go more core topic in the coming future. Which would you like to discuss on our podcast? And I really appreciate our friendship together and sharing the local market knowledge. Just like you said, like as a realtor, when we're choosing, you're not looking into just they know the local market, but they also know what's going on, province-wide, what's going on nationwide, or what's going on international-wide, and how it's going to impact the market. Because when people have those information or knowledge, they have different perspective, and they can educate you better, and they can help you better in achieving your goals, right? Or coaching you better in your terms,
Yeah.
right? So, my friendly fighter, keep fighting and keep winning, which you always do for yourself and for your clients. And definitely, people who are listening over here, they hopefully get a lot of wisdom from this Real Estate Wisdom podcast with Vish. So, thank you for watching. And just like ever, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and share. We are available on YouTube channel. We are on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye for now. Disclaimer: the information provided in this podcast is for informational purpose only and should not be considered as financial or investment advice. Consult with your professional before making any real estate decisions.